Hello guys, my name is Kalambai, and if this is your first time to follow us, please subscribe to our channel and be part of this channel. I can see just the background really of this video. It's really nice, and it's just so nice out there. The weather is kind of gloomy today, but the fresh air is just nice. It's not that very cold. It's not cold, but it's very nice. So but anyway, we're not here for the weather. Yeah, I want to talk about because I was hearing about Elon Musk and following the interview or the conversation, they call it, between Elon Musk and Donald Trump. I thought that was really vital for the business world. Really vital for the business world in terms of these are two two adults who have really succeeded in their lives, in their field. Donald Trump is really an exception in his field when it comes to investment, and Elon Musk is not an exception either. So you will excuse me for the noise that is actually bothering us in the meanwhile. So none of them is really bad in the field that they're doing, and one of them have opted actually to go in the political life, even though he's a good businessman. I'm talking about Donald Trump. Elon Musk is still in the business world. Well, of course, Donald Trump has not left the business world either. But the way they are aborting this conversation, and the way it's really touched me in sense of how they approach of life, the approach of issues. It really makes me think that at a certain point, business people think the same. They think the same. They think of really making each other's great. They don't think of battling one another, but they think of lifting up one another to be great in the field that people do. So you see, Donald Trump has been really one of the greatest investors in real estate. Have much more respect for that guy when it comes to real estate. Have much more respect for what he does. And in the political life, I think that's what he does. When you have great people and you sit around great people, they want to lift you up. They want to teach you what they do so that you can do also. They don't want to drag you down. Because when you're around poor people, they want to drag you down. I've realized in Africa, when you're living in a village, and in that village, everybody's poor. And when everybody's poor, if you buy a chicken and you cook that sauce of chicken soup, and your neighbor smells it, next time you are dead, because you're going to be excommunicated from the community. They're going to see where to look for some juju to kill you. Juju is Nigerian. So they're going to look for everything to actually put barriers in front of you. Why? Because it's a poor society. And a poor society has a poor thinking. It is a poor mindset, But when you are actually in a rich community, surrounded, even in Africa, everywhere, you're surrounded by people like Dangote. The way they think is actually different. So, back to the conversation of Elon Musk and Donald Trump. I think it was really great in the sense that these people want America to progress again, to go even further in terms of business, in terms of investments. You know, they were talking about EVs, they were talking about nuclear power, they were talking about America, which has lost its priority in the League of Nations. And they were talking about all these issues which affects us daily, and the the rule and laws which really countries implement, or America is implementing, and regulations which the country is implementing, which is actually choking the country, and the laws which are being used against political opponents. I think that was really great, because Donald Trump is a great man. Guys, you may have whatever you think about him, but I still think, and I will still think, America in this modern time, since the George Washington, the great founders of our USA, you've never had a leader like Donald Trump. Don't talk to me about Obama. Obama is a liar. He is a liar to the core. So Donald Trump has been a great leader for that nation. He has been helping that nation to actually climb up. Until you have Joe Biden came and just destroyed everything. I'm really scared that when Kamala Harris comes in power, that will be actually the end of the United States as we know it. It will be the extermination of that country. So, but anyway, the conversation of these two people was uplifting for the business world, because there were actually 60 million people were following it. 60 million people were connected to it, following actually this conversation. And this conversation actually was really uplifting. So I'm really looking forward to actually seeing what Donald Trump is going to do this time, because the more you have these Democrats and all that, the more wars you have actually around the world, the more actually instability you have. You can see Israel, you can see Ukraine, you can see Africa in the Congo. Everywhere there is what? There is wars. Why? Because when Democrats comes in, it's times of war. And economically, it's just not going well, neither for Western world, neither for other parts of the world. China is progressing very fast. It's very impossible and very it will be impossible to catch up with China the way they're actually developing economically. So it will not be possible for the USA to catch up. So I think Donald Trump can do something, but it will be interesting to see how much he can do in terms of helping that nation, because the United States is really falling down to the ditch. And the United States has lost its power, its influence. It has lost its really position in the world as a superpower, and really no nation that having respect for that. You can see African countries are really going away from the United States. They're looking toward Russia when it comes to actually military, economic. They're looking also to China. So things are really changing. Africans are changing. The world is changing. Economy is changing, politics is changing, everything is changing. But the question is it changing for the worse or for the better? I think the things are really changing for the worse. It's becoming worse because the world has lost its moral consciousness. It has lost that. The world has lost actually its identity. You know, people do not know who they are or what sex they belong to. It's really just confusion after confusion and confusion. So I think we'll see more of the world that is actually rigid and very strong, and that's what we call dictatorship or whatever you call it. That world is going to have an upper hand even much more. And lacking a better leadership in the world has really caused a vacuum, and this vacuum has led to Vladimir Putin or to Kim Jong-un or to other leaders to come and step in the vacuum. So that's what we see, because let's be honest, Europe, America, they are really out of touch of situations that are happening across the world, out of touch of global issues. And now we're going to see much more of stronger Vladimir Putin. We're going to see much more of stronger third world countries coming up. Why? Because we have Democrats who are in power and they're unable to do anything. They're unable to go anywhere. So that's what we saw in this conversation. Donald Trump trying to address these issues and trying actually to lift up Americans if there is any hope. The election is very tight, so we don't know what will happen. But I'm suspecting that this woman is going to come in power. And once she comes in power, that is the destruction of America as we know it. It's the death of America as we know it. So I really suggest that Americans should vote wisely and they should make really conscious votes, because going the Democrat way is actually going to destroy that nation as we know it. You can see the transport system is not working. Trains, I was in the United States and there is no adequate train from one state to the other. You cannot travel by trains. You have to rent a car. Electric cars, I mean, the only company that you have actually that is working there is actually Tesla. But if now they have actually closed the Chinese companies out of the market, but once they open that market to the Chinese companies, you see that many Chinese companies are going to run, and you're going to see the BYDs, you're going to see the other companies just running in like the Nero and all those companies. They're going to flood the market and really dominate the market. So I don't know what you think about this, but if you really want to follow that conversation, you can follow it. So it was really nice to see these two businessmen, these two tycoons really sharing issues on the economy, on politics, on energy, on all the issues that the world is facing. So for me it was very interesting, and they agreed on all the things, and they agreed on the issues of how the Democratic Party has actually destroyed the United States as we knew it. So the question is, can Donald Trump make America great again? He can try, but I think it will be very hard to actually make America great again, because America really has been left behind. There is insecurity everywhere. There is instability everywhere. So I don't know how he can do it, but I think he's worth to give him a chance again. He's been a great leader before, and I think he can do many things, because I think his tone and his way of being is really a way of showing leadership, and it can calm things actually to a certain level. But still more, things are going to get worse and worse. So let us really, for the business world's sake, try to give Donald Trump a try and see how the business world is going to climb up. So for me, I think things are becoming more interesting. The gold prices are climbing high, and things are really becoming much more expensive. We can see housing is expensive, transport is expensive, everything is becoming expensive, life is becoming expensive since this Democrat got in power. Inflation is very high, everything is very high. You can see, I always talk about trains. You can see these trains. You can find these high-speed trains, in the United States. They're not anywhere to be found. You have maybe a train in New York, but it doesn't look anything like this. America really needs somebody who can change the entire nation, who can change it radically and now. So as for me, I'm not an American, but I support Donald Trump 100%. Support Donald Trump 100%. Not that he can change things, but I think he can do something, than somebody who cannot do it. Please subscribe to our channel and follow us if you have not subscribed. Thank you.